This is The Whole Truth, brought to you by the Greenville County Democratic Party. From local city councils and school boards to the South Carolina legislature and the nation, we provide a clear-eyed view of the whole truth surrounding the decisions, the policies, and the politics that have a direct impact on your family, your neighbors, and you.
In today's episode, Steve and Lynn Ramirez discuss the initial results of the South Carolina-wide primary elections and review the runoff elections, which are happening on June 23rd, the day this episode is released. So even if you have not yet voted in the primaries, you can vote in the runoff. Get out and do it. We need your voice to make a difference. Hello once again. This is Steve Ramirez. I'm the first vice chair of the Greenville County Democratic Party. Welcome to another episode of episode 33 of The Whole Truth from the Greenville County Democratic Party. I am your host, Steve Ramirez, first vice chair, and with me,
I am Lynn Ramirez, and I'm the executive chairwoman with the GCDP.
Up to the state level, kind of the county to the state.
Yep.
So the liaison there. Sorry for the bump. Mm-hmm. We are recording this podcast just after the primary elections, with the exceptions of the runoff. Trying to get out on June 23rd, which is the day of the runoffs. Mm-hmm. So we've got lots of information, except for who are the final winners in some of those races. Mm-hmm. We are also recording this on Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of those of you out there who are fathers or adopted fathers or any type of father figures out there. Thanks for doing that job. It's an important one. And we just passed Juneteenth.
Yes.
So happy Juneteenth to all of you. We are so glad that history is starting to come out now, as it should. So, primary elections.
Woo! A lot of winners.
A lot of winners. Some folks that are walking away, but we shall see. The primary is basically to let everybody know, let the parties decide who is going to be on the ballot come November. Mm-hmm. So both the Republicans and the Democrats got together. They have their own separate primaries to decide, okay, these folks want to be on the ballot in November. This is how we decide. All the Democrats vote on their side. All the Republicans vote on their side. Of course, with South Carolina law, we have open primaries, so it is possible for people to pick either primary in which to vote.
I doubt that happened much at all during this primary because there were lots of choices on both ballots, on the Republican ballot or if you pulled the Democrat ballot. And I got to tell you, the big winners in both primaries were the Democrats. They showed up like never before. I think most of that is credited to there being other people on the ballot, something to vote for.
Democrats on the ballot.
Democrats on the ballot everywhere, from the top on down, state, county, filled an incredible number of seats. This round, I have to give a lot of credit to Crystal Spain, the chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, and her team for recruiting great candidates throughout. Our chair, Stacey Mars, sourcing capable individuals here in Greenville, and everyone else that had a hand in that, and there were many. So this is an incredible history-making year for South Carolina.
First time in 50 years that we have 124 Democratic candidates on the ballot for all 124 House seats.
State House
First
seats.
time in 50 years. So,
Yep.
Those people that you mentioned helped. There were other groups as well.
Yep.
Comeback SC, and I'm sure there were lots of others helping to push to get that done. We've got to get people on the ballot. Suddenly, when you have people on the ballot, people go, or the voters realize there's something to vote for. Okay, I can go vote and pull a Democratic ticket.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the numbers that we have in the primary. First of all, statewide, we had over 850,000 voters in the primary. And that's a mix of Republican and Democrats. It turns out to be about just over 25% of the total eligible voters in South Carolina, which are about 3.3 registered voters. We had about 850,000 votes. And so that's about 25.3%. But the fun news
You
is...
like numbers.
I do. I love numbers. But in Greenville County, let me tell you, Greenville County, they even beat the state percentage. Greenville County showed
turnout?
up for turnout.
Okay.
We turned out about 26.3% of voters. We have about 344,000 registered voters here in Greenville County, largest county of the 46 counties in the state by population, right? And we had 90,553, I think, at last check that I saw. Not only is that incredible, but when you look at how many people voted in the primary last year, which was a presidential year, usually
24, not last year.
24, yeah, 2024. Usually turnout's higher in those, but in Greenville County, we had maybe a 12% turnout. So we more than doubled our turnout. Incredible. So that's why I say all Democrats are the winners, and the constituents, all the voters are winners. They have choices. They have choices like never before.
Agreed.
All right.
So we were focused, the GCDP at least, was focused on getting the vote out in a few key races.
Yeah, in
locally,
districts where we had
primaries expected.
where we had multiple candidates in the primary.
Right, primaries.
Correct.
For us.
Correct.
Yeah. Or for the Democrats.
Right. So I think those were three. We had County Council, and that's turned...
County Council 23.
23, and that's turned out to a runoff
at this point.
with Angela Aiken and David C. Mitchell.
Yep.
So the incumbent, Alan Mitchell, did not make the runoff, but he's a wonderful...
Thank you for your service, my good sir.
Yes.
You've done well.
So we appreciate that. Then we have House 24, which was Caroline Avenger running against Justin Sanders.
Correct.
Caroline took that. And Justin Sanders, though, another great candidate. He's already picked up working for Greenville County, and so we have not seen the last of him. He's all over and
Welcome
helping
aboard.
out.
Yep.
So we're thrilled to have him, and thrilled that he was running. The last race was House 24, was it?
25.
25.
State House 25.
State House 25 with Wendell Jones running against Derek Quarles. Wendell Jones is the incumbent, and he won that race outright. Derek Quarles has a great following, incredibly
Very
active in the community, an advocate for many citizens in Greenville County and his district in particular. So we're hoping he sticks around and stays involved, and I'm sure he will.
So you want to go over the state level? That's a whole lot of folks. I will be showing an image down here. Or somewhere between us. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be, but I'll show you the numbers and the stuff that I'm looking at here. But for the governor, we had in the primaries, on the Republican side, there were 7 people. It's now a runoff between Pamela Evett and Alan Wilson. On the Democrat side, Jermaine Johnson, Mullins McLeod, and Billy Webster, where Johnson won outright with 56%. 56%. So the key on the primaries is if you make it 50% plus one vote, that is the key to get beyond a runoff, to not have to go through a runoff. Secretary of State, on the Democrat side, we had Jason Belton and Edwina Winter. Jason Belton won that with 51%. State Treasurer, Vincent Coe and Trav Robertson. Vincent Coe won with 56%. Attorney General, on the Republican side, 3 people running. We now have a runoff for that. Controller General, on the Democrat side, we have Tiffany Boozer and Bruce Cole. And Tiffany Boozer won with 74.5%. Superintendent of Education, Lisa Ellis versus Sylvia Wright, with Sylvia winning 61%. And Commissioner of Agriculture on the Republican side, there were 4 candidates, and that ends up in a runoff between Danny Ford and Cody Simpson. Yep. So that's that level. We also have the federal level, both the Senate and the House. And this is only the Greenville County pertinent ones. Of course, the Senate is statewide, but for Greenville County, it's House District 3 and House District 4. So on the Republican side, Lindsey Graham versus a whole bunch of other folks. Graham won it outright with 56.7%. On the Democrat side, Annie Andrews won with competing against Brandon Brown and Kyle Freeman. All 3 of those great candidates, but Annie Andrews won with 62%. On the House District side, District 3, we had Eunice Lehmacher and Ernest Mackins. Eunice won with 53%. And Republican side for District 4, William Timmons, David Ashley, and Robert E. Lee. Timmons won handily with 66%. So now, State House. The runoffs, we had 4 Republican and a couple Democrat, but basically...
Yep. And we went over the 2 Democrat. And
so District 5, Collins won. District 10, Beach won. District 21, Diane Mitchell won. District 22, Wickensheimer won. So a lot of the incumbents. Then for the Democrat side, Caroline Avenger that you mentioned, and Wendell Jones. So I had mentioned those before.
Yeah.
So we've got county council now. So on the Republican side, there were 3 races in primary and 1 Democrat. County Council District 17 is now a runoff between Dill and Forrester, with Democrat, already mentioned, Angela Aiken, David C. Mitchell. And that's for County Council District 23. County Council District 26, we have Daniel Rumpfeld won that one. And District 28, Kyle Long won that one.
Now, of course, we're not mentioning, the names of anyone who wasn't involved in a primary. So if you didn't hear a Democrat's name, like for Department
why weren't they on the
Agriculture, we have someone there. So not to worry there. You're going to be hearing a lot more from these candidates as the 135 days click away until the general election.
And actually, that was what prompted me to write this second one, second set of data, which is, so what does that mean for the November ballot?
Okay.
It's a lot more names, probably go through them a lot more quickly.
Oh, okay.
Painful for you?
Well, no.
Hopefully quick.
No.
But for governor, it'll be Pamela Evett or Alan Wilson against Jermaine Johnson. And there are also 3 other minor parties that are competing against that.
Okay.
Or in that race. We'll talk about those shortly. Secretary of State, it's Mark Hammond versus Jason Belton. Jason Belton being the Democrat. State Treasurer, Curtis Loftus versus Vincent Coe. Attorney General, Goldfinch or Stumbo versus Richard Ritchik. I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry about that, sir. Controller General, Mike Burkhold versus Tiffany Boozer. Superintendent of Education, Ellen Weaver versus Sylvia Wright. Commissioner of Agriculture, Danny Forder Simpson versus Deshaun Blanding. Senate, we've got Lindsey Graham versus Annie Andrews. District 3, Eunice Lehmacher is the Democrat versus Sherry Biggs. And Courtney McLean in District 4 versus William Timmons. Other third parties in each of those races as well. On the House side...
Oh, we don't need to go through all these.
We have a lot of House.
Yeah.
We should mention one, though.
So we have... we will. Okay. Let's dig into some of the interesting things for me. Was when I was looking at voter turnout and all these numbers and everything, you can get smaller, of course, county-wide, where our percentage of voters that turned out were higher than state. But... if you get down to the smaller unit, the precinct level, what was turnout looking like there? So I looked at the top 5 turnout ones and the bottom 5 turnout ones and tried to see what conclusions I could draw. And interestingly, now, granted, the data size wasn't huge, so not a straight line thing, but for those that had the hugest turnout was Greenville 17, Greenville 23, Furman, Altamont, and Mountain Creek. They had very high turnout, with Greenville 17 leading the way with 38.8% of registered voters in that precinct turning out to vote. That's huge. That's absolutely
In a
huge.
primary.
Okay. Now on the lower side, we had Greenville 6, Greenville 7, Montague, Fountain Inn 2, and Trade. And with the lowest one being, let me think, it was 12.1% turnout. So less than half the county average.
And yet, even so, 12 is not bad for a
12,
primary historically,
yeah,
but comparatively. Okay.
Yeah.
Just looking comparatively, those were the lesser turnouts.
Actually, you're right. 2 years ago in 24,
7 or 6?
we had 12% turnout for the primary,
Right.
overall.
Yeah.
But in looking at why that might have been,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking who was running in those seats. You know, the state level, of course, is
Common across
all
all
of them.
precincts. Right.
But there's a race in particular, the one where we had 2 Democrats running for House seat 24
Carolina
that
Adams
had
or
the
Justin
highest
Sanders.
turnout in the precinct. Okay? Now, when I looked at the lowest, it was that the Dems didn't have anyone running in a primary, for a House seat. For instance, my House seat, which is Fountain Inn 2, is one of my precincts. I didn't have a challenger, so I had no primary election. I'm on the ballot in November against the Republican incumbent who had no challenger. So turnout there was 17%, which is still higher than it was for the primary in 2024, but not anywhere near the county average.
How about the Greenville 6 and 7, I think you said?
Yeah, Greenville 6 and 7 were very low, and that was another one. Representative Chandra
Dillard.
Chandra Dillard is running. She didn't have a primary.
No competitor.
Not only that, is she has no one running against her on the Republican ticket. So that was the lowest turnout in the county. And it kind of makes sense.
Celebrate or not, but
So-
it makes sense.
So where people had choices, the turnout was higher, and where there were multiple choices, turnout was even higher. The same pattern wasn't true for Republicans. So I found that really interesting.
Yeah, 'cause
So-
certainly for a lot of the
Yeah.
state levels,
Yeah.
there were multiple choices.
Correct. Yeah, for the House seats in our district, there were multiple choices, but that didn't drive turnout. I think Democrats, independents are waking up, realizing they have a choice. And I think that's the biggest thing that our voters wanted to know. They have choices to make. They're not disenfranchised. Like, why bother? Why bother? It's always going to be the Republican. Now, little word of caution, we need to wake up a little bit more. When I look at let's say, looking at the governor's race and the turnout for both parties, the split of Democrat voters to Republican voters. It was about 44% Democrat turnout and 56 Republican
At
turnout.
the state level?
At the state level,
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
yeah, not county.
Yeah.
At the state level, I didn't look at county. That'd be interesting.
And this is where we were hoping, anticipating, crossing fingers, that the Democrats would show up much more so at a much, much higher percentage
But
with the choices we had.
they did.
They did in volume.
There are
split.
so many, though, Democrats. No, not Democrats. There are so many undecided or independents that won't vote party. Remember, this is a primary, so you had a choice. Would you like, to vote in the which political party's primary would you like to vote is always the question. You had 2 choices, Republican or Democrat. If I'm an independent and I don't want to be pigeonholed into that, maybe I didn't come out and vote. So it's not saying we don't have the votes and we can't change some seats. I think we have the potential to do a lot, not just on local levels here and there, but statewide. I think we can turn out. On the Republican side, there's going to be a lot of disillusionment. There was some hotly contested the Senate race, Lindsey Graham's seat. There's some polar opposition to Lindsey Graham. Will they back, him anyway, just to back the Republican ticket, or will they skip that vote and move on? Same thing with the governor. There, on the Republican side, it was hotly.
Fever's running high.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens. But right now, it's looking good for the Dems. It's looking very good.
So turnout in the primaries, as a general trend, it's usually lower than the general election.
Correct. Yes.
And certainly for runoffs, it's almost always lower than even the primaries.
Right.
But what that means is that the people who go to those elections, they're the ones who get to decide what happens with our country, with our state, with our county, all of that.
Right. Well, the primary voters get to decide who's on the ballot.
Right. And that then subsequently helps the decision downstream.
Correct.
So with the turnout where it is, it's a record from where it was before.
It's amazing.
But we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
We got to get even more people
exciting.
awake and out and have the turnout this November be through the roof.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't all go smoothly. I know we had, the individual parties will hear any protests over an election. And on the Democrat side, there was one on a county council election in Bamberg County.
How do you know that?
So with the new rules in place, the ones to adjudicate the case or to determine whether the protest is upheld or not, it goes directly to the party. So
state rules.
Yeah,
so the state came up with the new rules.
Correct. So we heard this case.
We being the
executive committee on the state level. Yeah.
Democratic Party.
Yeah. South Carolina Democratic Party. Yeah.
Okay.
Had we
You're so far on the inside.
Yeah, I know.
Look at it from their perspective.
Yeah. There used to be 5 levels. You'd go to the county level, forget what the other level was, then the state party level, then the circuit court, then the Supreme Court. Now they've changed the window of time you have to protest an election. It first goes to the state party, and if it's appealed after that, it goes directly to the Supreme Court. But all was worked out without a problem. I don't know on the Republican side if they had any to deal with. There was an inconsistency with a person, both candidates being on a ballot in a specific precinct, a small precinct. And when we went through the the evidence presented, the amount of votes could not have changed the outcome of the race. So the protest did not stand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
we move forward to the runoff, or the runoff elections on the 23rd.
Yep.
And that closes out the primary season.
And
those folks then march onward toward November 3rd.
Absolutely. All right. It'll be our busy time. So
it will be.
Right. We're going to wake them up.
Doubled, basically, the percentage.
More than doubled.
For a primary.
Oh, my gosh.
So what was the total number of primary turnout? 28%?
Total number of votes or percentage? Statewide?
Yeah.
Countywide?
Yep.
Statewide was 25.3%.
Okay, so 25%. We need that number a whole lot higher.
Yeah.
In the Democrat side. In order to make that happen, we've got to get people out there and waking up others.
Yeah.
Shaking the trees.
So you know somebody, let them know what's going on. Loads of choices, great choices. I encourage you to look up who's running, both sides. So educate yourself, make the best choice.
Yep.
It'll be great.
So we've got opportunities on the GCDP side, Greenville County Democratic Party. If you are interested at all, please come knocking. You can go to thegreenvilledemocrats.com/volunteer. You can go on that volunteer website and sign up and just offer whatever time that you've got or whatever energy or capabilities you've got. You don't have to go knocking door to door, but we'd love you to go knocking door to door. We You don't have to do postcards because, man, my hand cramps up when I do those things. But we've got a whole lot of different opportunities, whether it's knocking on doors, volunteering with campaigns, hosting house parties, finding people to host house parties, calling people. It's just all sorts of opportunities.
You name it, whatever level of involvement you want, from money to services to whatever you can do. I don't see a better time, a better chance of changing things here in South Carolina. It's now. I don't know if we'll have this same opportunity again in the future. This is incredible.
Correct.
Yep.
And it's not going to be 2 weeks before the election that it's going to make a difference. Right now, this kind of effort, it has to start now.
Yeah.
Most campaign thinking is, summer, don't do anything. But from the Greenville County Democratic Party side, we got to start now, waking people up, creating those relationships with people who are out there.
Yeah.
Come knocking on the door. We will set you up with opportunities to create those relationships with people in your neighborhood, in other areas, waking up the people out there so that our turnout on the Democrat side is much higher.
Yes. Yep. We can do it. All right.
So that should be it. We probably went way over time. We talked numbers way too much, but hey,
You'll have to cut that.
We have been running 2 episodes per week lately because of all of the candidates that we had in primaries. And we had so many to get through. We ran 2 episodes per week. We're going to go back to 1 episode. But after we get closer as we get closer to the November elections, we will probably do that same thing again because we've got a lot of candidates to get through once again. Absolutely. And we're going to give them some time in front of you so you can learn and hear exactly what's going on. Yeah. We hear a lot of complaints frequently about they didn't do anything. They didn't come knocking on my door. Nobody ever, whatever those complaints are. This is an avenue where you can find out what's going on, what the candidates have to say, what they will mean if you vote for them on your ballot. So, if you will, that's about it.
That's it from here.
Thanks. That's the episode. Bye-bye.
Greenville County Democratic Party thanks you for watching or listening. We are thrilled that you are being an active participant in our civic society. But there are many others who still haven't recognized that their participation will make a positive difference. So we ask you to please share this podcast with others you know, especially those outside your politically minded circles. Most of all, we need you with your time, skills, and effort to help engage more like-minded voters in order to make significant change to our government. Find out how to get involved by connecting with us. Visit the GCDP website, www.greenvilledemocrats.com, and look at the upcoming events calendar or sign up on the volunteer page. Keep up with us by following or subscribing at our social media platforms. Search for GVL Dem on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, or Greenville County Democratic on YouTube. Thanks.